Welcome to Great Talking Entertainment. I'm your host, KJ, and this is the YouTube channel where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Now let's go, baby. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. My name is KJ, and I'm the host of Great Talking Entertainment official channel, and this is my spoiler review for the new Disney Plus series by Marvel Television Studio, DareDevil Born Again, Episode 8 spoiler review. So if you have not seen this show, pause this, but before you go, could you hit the thumbs up button? That would just help this YouTube channel in so many ways, from new viewers, new subscribers, and I would just truly appreciate that if you guys could. So thank you. Come back after you watch Daredevil Born Again 1 through 8, and then soon to be 9, and let me know what you think about Daredevil Born Again Season 1 in the comments below. Again, this is a spoiler review. Y'all been warned. Now, let's get into it. This episode starts off with Daredevil and Maleficent both having relationship problems between the two. For example, we see Vanessa and Maleficent finally have the moment where they see Adam, the guy she was having an affair with, locked up in a cell, his own personal cell, and we see her in that scene, in that whole episode, honestly, just murder him. And it looks like they're getting back together, but who knows, because we don't understand Vanessa. And also, we see that Heather is still feeling guilty for murdering Moose, even though that she was just doing it for self-defense. But she feels very discouraged and upset about it. And in that episode, she invites Daredevil to this get-together that the mayor is having for a dinner party type thing. And of course, this is one of those things we see in this episode where now, he's the big boss again. He's back being the kingpin, and he's putting everybody on notice. And then we see Daredevil. We see him getting more excited, more ready to take on Maleficent. Now he's not doing as a lawyer, but as the vigilante. So we're seeing that aggressiveness. We're seeing him show us that he wants to do justice this way, because these past few episodes, he's realizing that his job as a lawyer to serve justice is not working in this particular situation. So now he's more into doing the vigilante situation of stopping Kingpin, aka Mayor Fisk. And that's the one thing. And also in this episode too, while that was all happening, we see that Bullseye is well, he got moved to a non-private place where he was separated from the other inmates, I should say. Now he's in the public, he's with other inmates, and of course they're ready to devour him. They're ready to whoop on him, and of course the guards, they're not going to make that easy for him. And then we get later on, because of that, Matt Murdock gets a call, and has to talk to Bullseye. And of course, this is very interesting, that and I thought this was really cool too at the same time, because I was wondering, from the Netflix series, what's their dynamic duo gonna be like now in this series. And I feel like it has really taken to a new level of where they're at in this level of, it's like a relationship in a way, because or like a bond. They're like in comic books or just anything superhero, the good guy versus the bad guy. There's these particular type of bad guys or villains, I should say, right? Where they have this bond between the hero and the villain, right? Like these two can't exist without each other. These two can't do the things they want to do without each other. For example, the easiest one is to use is Batman and Joker. Batman needs Joker, Joker needs Batman. And over the years of just multiple stories through comic books and TV shows, of cartoons, and then the live actions of Batman movies, we always see like the dynamic between these two and how these two have a different style, but they mix so well. This is the exact same thing, and I felt like Daredevil and Bullseye's bond as the hero and the villain has really gone to a new level. And this is, to me, this is how I'll explain it. So when you first saw that character in the Daredevil series on Netflix, this was more of like him like his origin story of becoming Bullseye, right? We were learning about him. We learned that he has parent issues and maybe mommy issues at the times. And he doesn't know what love is. And when he gets a little bit of attention and kindness, he becomes very obsessed with it and very overprotective. Well, not overprotective, but very protective in a way where it's like a toy. Because we know in the Netflix series, they show a little bit of his childhood life. They show like the first time he murders somebody, right? And we see Vanessa at the time in the Netflix series, of course, do that, give him that motherly love, you know, taking him under her wing, being a good role model, and it was working, right? Because the one thing about Bullseye is his life was rough, and when it comes to kindness and love, once he gets a little bit of it, he wants to be protected and never lose that feeling again. But now, since he's lost all of that and he's felt betrayed, and now this, that he's with the inmates, and he asked, Matt Murdock to, get him back in there, but because of what Matt Murdock is going through in this episode, since episode 1, to be honest, and the obvious one is Bullseye took away Foggy, is this is not something Matt Murdock is wanting to forgive him for, and he really doesn't want any good things to happen to Bullseye, so he's kind of glad that he's with the inmates. But who put him in there is the question, which we find out later. But at that one point, I thought it was interesting, too, is that in this dynamic duel between each other, Bullseye knew how to get under his skin, right? Bullseye knew who the person he needed to hurt to get Matt Murdock, to get Daredevil. Bullseye knows, without actually physically hurting him, he knows how to mentally and verbally hurting him. And that's what most villains do to the hero. This is like, and they can have multiple villains to do that to them. It's not just Batman and Joker. Sometimes it's Batman and Deathstroke. It's a unique thing, but those two can't do the things they do without each other, in the sense like, Deathstroke has to know that Batman's out there and he's the guy he should expect to see stop him with his evil plan, right? Same thing. Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, has the Kingpin and Bullseye, and of course other Marvel villains. But this shows us that this particular villain in this moment, Bullseye, is showing us that this right now, he's the guy that Daredevil cannot function, loses his cool easily, and that's why you seen him bang his head, and that's how he loosened up Bullseye's tooth, and of course Bullseye knows how to use that because he's really good at throwing. Like his Bullseye's base thing is he never misses his target. He can take any object, throw it at you, and he's gonna hit his target. And so all he needs is a tooth, right? And of course he murders everybody in that prison and escapes prison. And then we learn that he gets out and he's going to assassinate the Kingpin. And while that's also happening, too, we see that Matt Murdock is late for the thing. And now we're seeing a rough relationship go down. And I think it may end because now, because of the stress and what he's dealing with now, is he's lost it. He's upset, and now he's really depending on the Daredevil vigilante way to stop things. So he showed up to that party ready to take out the Kingpin, aka Mayor Fisk. And again, this is, you know what, and this is more has to do with Bullseye. Bullseye got under his skin. Kingpin at this moment doesn't get under his skin. It bothers him that he's mayor of New York, yes. But this is more about Bullseye doing what he did to Foggy. And this is about Daredevil stopping Bullseye from getting another target. Because, you know, his whole thing is to stop somebody like Bullseye, and he failed. So now, even though he doesn't like Mayor Fisk, he's going to protect him as he did. And we also learn Vanessa is the one that moved Bullseye to the more public inmates of a prison, where now he has to interact with them more as he did. So why did she plan his escape? And was it the plan to have Mayor Fisk shot as he failed? But Daredevil 2 in this was very interesting. Is Daredevil showed us in that scene that he's willing to do anything to make sure the bad guy, the villains, do not win. Even sacrifice himself. And I thought that was pretty amazing cool. And I really like that because it's a callback to a lot of that only Daredevil comic book fans will know. Like that, like, you know, this particular thing that Bullseye does, and the way sometimes Daredevil has to stop to save somebody who's the target of Bullseye. And I thought that was pretty neat. So this was that moment too. You know what else I like about it? It felt like a theater. It felt very, theater, like this was a play. You know, imagine going to a play. It just, the way the stage was set up, the way the lightings was, it felt like they weren't shooting an episode or a movie. It felt like they were shooting a live theater, a musical, a Broadway in a way. There was no singing of dance. There was no singing like that, but the idea felt like a play, you know. And I thought that was pretty cool. Like, and it was just in that scene. Everything else was pretty much how like every episode is so far, with with today's directing and cameras, right? But this, to me, in this moment, I felt like I was at a theater watching a play, a live play, pretty much. And that's what was one of my favorite things about this whole episode was that. Everything else, yes, I loved it. I loved where it's going. I love how this is taking a toll. And I like the idea that, in a way, Mayor Fisk is winning. He's beating Daredevil. Because it seems like Daredevil's a little rusty. He hasn't done the crime fighting for a long time. He chose to give it up. and now he's getting back into it, and we're seeing him just lose everything at the same time, because it's a reminder that being a vigilante means like your normal life is not really good. It's just falling apart, or it's just broken. And he's getting back to that, but that's gonna make him a better superhero, a better vigilante. It'll make him the Daredevil you know and love as a fan. So I really like that. But again, that was cool. So let's get into some topics. Let's talk about Vanessa. What I think, to me, there can only be two reasons. One, I think Vanessa wants to take out Kingpin and be the new, she could be the new mayor of New York, and she could be the queen of the crime mobs, of New York. Right? I think that's what she wants to do. Or her and Kingpin have secretly teamed up, and they're just fooling everybody. They want to think that that's the weakness, and they're wrong. And there's a big plan that they're trying to achieve. Like, maybe this makes Mayor Fisk look like a hero, makes him look more innocent. And to have somebody like Matt Murdock take a bullet for him, knowing that Mayor Fisk is not well liked, but now he looks like a hero. He looks like people respect him, and they use Matt Murdock to be an example to change other people's minds that, you know what, Mayor Fisk is a good guy. If he would help him, then we should help him, type thing. Like, I think this makes Mayor Fisk look more innocent and more like a good guy, while he's not really being a good guy, and while he's not being innocent. So that could be the setup too, as well. But what I believe it's one of those two, and I either or would be cool. Like, I would enjoy both scenarios, whatever way they go with it. I think that would be fine. And because, again, maybe it's not about Mayor Fisk having a wife. It's just about him just being the kingpin. Like, he just needs to be the villain like he is supposed to be for the Marvel characters. He just needs to be a bigger and greater villain. And I think they just need to focus more on that. And that's how I feel with Daredevil again, too. I told you, like, I'm not a fan of the romance with Daredevil and Kingpin. I feel like these characters are great for the moment, and they make sense for this whole plot of season 1. But I believe that at some point they should just stick on those two characters and what they're supposed to be. Like, let Kingpin just be the Kingpin, let him be the villain of villains, and let Daredevil be the hero of heroes, the vigilantes of vigilantes. That's my take on it. So I'd rather it be the first one where Mayor Fisk finds out that Vanessa tried to get him shot and killed, and then he takes her out for good. Like, that's what I'd rather see in the story of this season 1. Let's talk about Heather. Now, Heather is very interesting. I think she's going to become a villain. I think Vanessa is going to take her under her wing and be a role model, a mentor towards her. That's what I think. Like, and again, I didn't Google this, but from my perspective, without Googling it, doing any research, it seems like Heather could become a villain, and maybe this character was a villain the whole time throughout Marvel comic books. So that's what I'm thinking too, that Vanessa could be a villain. And there's a lot of evidence shown if you really think about it. And to me, this episode made me rethink about the past episodes that I've seen this character in. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is just little seeds of her becoming a villain. So I'm thinking Vanessa is going to be, or not Vanessa, but Vanessa, yes. But I'm thinking Heather is going to become a villain, and especially for season 2 Daredevil. That's what I'm thinking. Now, with seeing Daredevil now in this situation, I think this is just more reasons to give him more closure why he needs to be Daredevil, because again, even him being himself, Matt Murdock, he succeeded, but he also failed. He saved Mayor Fist, but he also failed. Like, he was supposed to dodge the bullet. Nobody was supposed to get shot, especially him. So he's already failed, and he's already losing to Mayor Fist because of that accident of him getting shot by Bullseye. So I think this is more of just giving him more motivation to be Daredevil, basically. That's where I got out of it. But this one was really cool. This had not a lot of action, but this is more about the dialogue, and I thought the dialogue and the acting was good. I also just like too the task force acting more like thugs and punks now, because they got a free pass, get out of free jail go card, and so they can hurt anybody and not listen to the chief of police New York, or Hell's Kitchen, whatever. So I think that's pretty cool too. And I think the task force now, to me, is showing evidence of them becoming a cult. I think they're going to become obsessed and worship like the Punisher. That's where I think that's going with that. To me, that's the clues and signs that I see out of this particular episode. So, but those are the three topics I just wanted to bring up, because those are some real key points, and there's a lot of hinting of where these characters may be going for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. And obviously they're not going to reveal it yet, but those are my predictions and guesses of it, and that's how I feel about them too as well. I think that these characters are going to start becoming who they're supposed to be. This is, again, this why I like the title Born Again, because it's like, this is like they're like getting baptized to become their true who they are, and that what they're known for within the Marvel comics. And it's refreshing because they're introducing Daredevil and all these characters again. But this time, this is more MCU official. So it's very exciting, and I cannot wait to see where this goes. But I'm telling you, I feel like they're going to be more comic book accurate to it, and they're just building it up towards it. And I'm so excited about that. That's why I really enjoy this particular episode. So I'm loving it. And if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give it an 8. Really good. A little slow pace. With an action-packed type show, you shouldn't slow pace, but, this one was very artistic. This was telling a long, detailed story of what's going on and what could happen next. And they wanted to really execute that. There's a big mystery coming up in episode 9. So I understood the goal of it, and I feel like they execute that correctly. That's why I'm giving it an 8. I loved it. It was fun, and what a great series. I think Marvel's doing such a great job with now in this current phase of the MCU. So, yeah, it's an 8, but that's my review, y'all. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment official channel. Subscribe. Hit that notification button so you can always be up to date with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace